What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing week so far. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. That's at DreamRare. You can follow me on Twitter at Legendary Energy. Check out my website, legendary.vision. It has all my links. My new store, if you want to buy some shirts, dreamrare.com. If you don't want to, that's fine too. It's always an option. I'm going to wait about 5 or 10 more seconds, and I'm going to talk about a story that I think is hilarious, and I could use it to also talk about more important things in the world and have fun while doing it, which is the story of what happened over the last 24 hours between Keurig, Sean Hannity of Fox News, Roy Moore, and all of the Washington Post. It really encompasses, is that even a word? You know what I'm talking about. It includes everything, so it's going to be a fun way to talk about it. Let's wait about 5 more seconds for people to get in. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so the story happened when, we'll take it from the beginning. Roy Moore beats Luther Strange in an election. Luther Strange was the establishment candidate. Roy Moore seemed like the outsider, and he wins. And all of a sudden, a couple months later, there's allegations that he is, misconduct with some kids. Which, in today's light, unfortunately, there's so much stuff going on. It's hard to really take it all in. But the weird part about it was multiple things. One, it came from the Washington Post, and as much as I want to protect people from sexual abuse and whatnot, abuse of power, you have to understand Washington Post is not an unbiased organization. I don't know if they're still pretending to be. I don't know if they call themselves that, but I found out by watching the news myself this year that the New York Times and Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC and Huffington Post, all of these news sources that I was like, wow, these guys are like real for the environment, for the people, for social justice. I realized that they're all a bunch of phonies and they're a bunch of fakes. And the Washington Post is basically the Hillary Clinton news network or the establishment candidate news network. During the Bernie Sanders Hillary Clinton situation, Washington Post posted like 8 Bernie Sanders smear things in less than 24 hours. They had 8 anti-Bernie Sanders things. So progressives on the far left know that the Washington Post hated Bernie. Conservatives obviously don't know that the Washington Post hates Donald Trump and hates the new conservative movement. They don't even really try to hide it. It's not like they pretend. Do people think they're like a fair news network that really, wants to give Trump and conservatives a fair shake? Literally on their website it says, democracy dies in darkness. They don't even hide it. They're like, what democracy? It's not even a democracy. It's an oligarchy at best. Trump is shaking things up, and now you're trying to pretend like if we remove Trump, it's a democracy again because the people who made it not a democracy get back in power. Makes no sense. So basically, regardless of what Washington Post, they're anti-Trump. They're like an establishment anti-Trump organization. So the fact that they said Roy Moore, that's what muddies the water. I would love to believe, a young woman that comes out, and I think we should protect our women for sure. But the Washington Post, I said on Twitter, I don't know if this analogy makes sense. The Washington Post saying that Roy Moore is accused of something, it's like your boss firing somebody and hiring you, and then the person that got fired for your job owning a newspaper. Of course, they're not going to say anything nice about you because it's not in their best interest politically or financially. So the Washington Post, it's sketchy to begin with. The allegations came out. They're 40 years old. The one woman who is alleged, Roy Moore did this to me 40 years ago, she was a Hillary Clinton campaign employee and a Joe Biden employee who was an anti-Trumper. So nothing about these allegations are confirmed. Roy Moore says he's suing the Washington Post. I don't know the truth, but it's sketchy. It's not something that we all... And then you have Mitt Romney and all the establishment politicians. They're like, he needs to drop out of the race right now. He needs to drop. Anytime you get John McCain and Mitt Romney and all the Republicans saying, get out, get him out, get him out. There's something fishy because the allegations just came out 2 days ago, all of a sudden. Anyway, so that's where it starts. Washington Post puts out this story that says Roy Moore is accused of something. Roy Moore denies it. So Keurig, the coffee company, they just make coffee machines, the little ones that you pop in the little plastic things and it pops out coffee. Everyone knows the Keurig machines. They decided to somewhat get involved. I don't know if they were pressured by Media Matters, who is like a left-wing organization. They call themselves progressive. I don't know what they really are, but they're basically like a hit team for the establishment. They just send a lot of people and try to boycott things and systematically control things. So Keurig and Sean Hannity has a lot of haters as well. A lot of people on the left that aren't related to Media Matters. They just don't like Sean Hannity, to be honest. He's a very polarizing character, to call it like it is. So Keurig decides to answer one of the employees and says, oh, hold on, before I get to that, Sean Hannity had Roy Moore on his show. So this is where they try to tie everything together. Roy Moore beats an establishment candidate. Washington Post, who lied about the Russia hacking the power grid. They've lied about multiple Russia stories. They're basically on a whole campaign to take down Trump and anybody that isn't an establishment conservative. They're the ones who made the allegations. So they're flimsy. Sean Hannity has Roy Moore to talk about it on his show. And then Keurig decides, because they got a lot of backlash from their supporters or people, enough people on Twitter, they're like, you know what? We hear what you're saying. So we're going to boycott Sean Hannity's network. We're not going to run an ad on there. They were thinking that was the politically correct thing to do and that it was going to help their sales and make them look like some social justice heroes. But there's one problem. It's this one problem that never goes away, that's never going to go away, no matter how much the media lies, no matter how much social media lies, no matter how many fake articles are featured on Twitter and Facebook every day, no matter what's in the Washington Post and the New York Times and CNN and MSNBC and any news publication, left or right-leaning, the one thing that always messes them up is the silent majority. And the silent majority is, in my opinion, a conglomerate of people. It's not just Trump supporters. It's Trump supporters. It's conservatives who don't have a voice. It's left-leaning people who, don't buy into the establishment politics and they see the corruption. It's central people. It's libertarians. The silent majority is hundreds of millions of people, over 100 million Americans, who don't believe the mainstream media, who don't believe the news, who know it's not true, who know we're being rigged on the left, who know we're being rigged on the right, and who know it's a big setup. So the media lies all the time, and they do these social media hit pieces, and they lie so much that they actually believe themselves. So Keurig thinks, man, it's going to be a no-brainer. I'm going to boycott Sean Hannity, and it's going to be smooth sailing because everybody doesn't like him. The only problem is Sean Hannity, whether you love him or hate him, has one of the most loyal fan bases on television. He's constantly the #1 political news show, crushing CNN and MSNBC most weeks. I think the only one who could really hang with him is Rachel Maddow. Most weeks she gets beat by 1 million viewers, but sometimes she beats him when she's on her crazy, Russia conspiracy, and she lures people in anyway. So Sean Hannity has a loyal following, and also there's just a lot of conservatives, Trump supporters, and left-leaning people who are sick of the BS. So they boycott Sean Hannity's network because they think that their consumers are going to be cool with it, because the silent majority, the hundreds of millions of people who never get accounted for, the forgotten Americans, the forgotten citizens of this world, who they want to act like we don't exist. Latinos don't exist unless you're coming over on a boat. You can't be Muslim if you like Trump. You can't be black or white. It's like they put you in a box, and if you're like, oh, like I'm Latino, but I don't feel that way, they act like we don't exist. So anyway, the backlash was hilarious. I log into Twitter and people are smashing their Keurig machines. They're doing a Keurig bat challenge. They're putting it there and smashing them with golf clubs. Mostly conservatives, but I think there's some left-leaning people and other people who, were in on the fun, just smashing their Keurig machine. So today, the Keurig CEO, he probably got into the office and was like, what the heck? He just probably seen tens of thousands of his machines being smashed. And in my opinion, and I don't do polls or, I don't know the true demographics of the United States, but in my view, there's 5 times as many people in the silent majority as there are in this fake media, induced, oh, this is how everybody thinks. This is how everybody of this race thinks, and this is how everybody of this religion thinks, and everybody of this gender thinks this way, and you don't exist if you don't. It's a big lie. So the Keurig CEO was forced to apologize. A big Business Insider article came out. He's freaking out because he's losing probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, because that's what happens when you ignore reality. So this talk, not only is it funny and enjoyable for me, and I'm sure people will, not that I even care about the haters, but they'll be like, oh, Namli, you only talk about the right, this and that. I'm covering multiple things in this video. One, the Washington Post lies a lot. They lied about left-leaning people. They lie about honest things on the left. They lie about honest things on the right. So why should we believe them in their allegations when they're literally on a whole campaign trail to upend the elected president of the United States? So that's not a right-leaning issue. Sean Hannity, I've disliked him my whole life, and I to be honest, I still haven't even watched him one time in this whole year, so that's not even the case. But I've seen him talking about deep diving issues this year that nobody else is talking about, so for that I'll give him credit. But like I said, I don't even own a TV, so I don't even know what's on Fox News half the time. But I just thought it was hilarious, and I also thought it was a great encompass of why America is so great, because we have the freedom of speech and we have a free market. Roy Moore is allowed to run for president. Hillary Clinton campaign members are allowed to accuse him of sexual assault. The Washington Post is allowed to publish a story accusing Roy Moore of sexual assault. Sean Hannity is allowed to have Roy Moore on his network and talk about it in his way and, weigh in on the topic. Keurig, or we'll take a step back, the Sean Hannity haters and the Media Matters and the, paid, hit pieces or whoever these people are, I don't know, I'm sure some aren't paid, some are paid, they go and attack Keurig and tell him to get rid of Sean Hannity, and then Sean Hannity's people and the conservatives, then they start smashing Keurig's, and now the CEO has to apologize. It's freedom of speech and a free market at its finest. I mean, what a great place, You're allowed to say this, you're allowed to do this, we're allowed to do this, this is what happens. So, to overall the theme of this whole video, the CEO of Keurig, who basically tried to pick sides in a political battle, had to retract because he realizes there's a lot more conservatives, libertarians, Trump supporters, and left-leaning people who don't agree with him than they originally thought. Just like I've been saying every day for a whole year. Just like I've been saying since March of 2016. Just because the media continues to lie about everything, it's never going to make it true, because these people are not going to go away. I'm not going to go away. The people who watch my videos are not going to go away. The people who watch Sean Hannity are not going to go away. The people who watch Tucker Carlson are not going to go away. The people who watch Jimmy Dore and H.A. Goodman, or, the Sane Progressive, or read Caitlin Johnstone on the left, they're not going to go away. People who listen to Glenn Greenwald and, Edward Snowden and Kim.com on Twitter, they're not going to go away. The people who like Julian Assange are not going to go away. The silent majority is not going to go away. We're the most powerful group in the United States. And thank you so much, mainstream media, for acting like these people don't exist, because you've allowed me to sit on my couch and literally become a bigger superstar than people on television, than Rachel Maddow, who gets paid, $100 million a year to lie for the establishment. So thank you so much for lying about everything, because if it weren't for your lies and your constant efforts to pretend like we all don't exist, I wouldn't have a career, and I would be having to work somewhere else instead of standing up for what I believe in and saying the things that other people can't say because they're constantly being pressured by people who believe you. So that's the blessing of America. That's the blessing of the world. Smash your Keurig, don't smash your Keurig. Drink coffee, don't drink coffee. Personally, I don't care. I just thought this was a hilarious situation that came full circle. God bless America. God bless the world. God bless the freedom of speech, and God bless the free market, because we're all allowed to do what we do. But Keurig learned the hard way that there's tens of hundreds of millions of people who don't believe what's on social media every day and featured in the news section. We don't believe the politicians. We don't believe the Republicans. We don't believe the Democrats. It's not like a Russia thing. It's like, whoa, like... All right, I'm back. Sorry, somebody called me. So it's not a thing that everybody who disagrees with us is Russian. That's not true. That's a lie they keep repeating. They keep repeating a lot of lies. I say either, one, keep doing it so I can continue to elevate while you guys crash, or two, join the party, have fun, spread some truth, knowledge, wisdom, unity, love, listen to conservatives, listen to libertarians, and try to find a common ground, because yes, there are things that people on the right are missing and maybe aren't doing right, but for the most part, everything they're doing is not wrong, far from it. That's why there's such a big backlash, and that's why when Keurig tries to get involved, people start smashing their machines with golf clubs. So I thought it was amazing. Let me know what you think. I'm going to post my link below. If you would like to donate, I'm 100% people funded, like I just said. That's why I'm able to spend so much time and energy, fighting the good fight to basically just try to spread love and truth. It's sad that, we can't find it on the major news networks, but that's clearly not their agenda, for lack of a better word. So if you would like to donate, thank you so much. If not, I appreciate your presence and your likes, comments, shares, and everything that you guys do, the support, the messages, the emails. I'm trying to answer them all. I will answer them all. Just give me a little bit. I appreciate every ounce of your energy, more than you can imagine. So thank you so much. I'll be back later this week.